Hey everybody, this is Thomas Andrick, your voice of the PPC in Whitby. So I'm sure most of you are aware and know of the latest idea and steps that our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau wants to take, and that is he wants to regulate podcasts now. He wants to be able to regulate the kind of news and things people say, don't say, and allowed to say and can't say on the internet and allowed to be circulated on the internet. I don't think there needs to be any more proof of the Marxist ideology that this government, along with the NDP and the whole quote-unquote left, which is basically has become a anti-democratic ideological group that really is there for the destruction of democracy and the destruction of this nation. They're anti-Canadian, anti-democratic. So this, we see their steps, they see what they want to do, and this would be the cherry on top of everything that they've already done. Regulating podcasts and what people pass on and give their ideas in their own little room that want to pass it on to the world, that's free speech, and that should be allowed. Not should be allowed, it is allowed under our laws to be circulated, to be passed on. This is what they want to regulate, and what this, they pass it on to the CRTC, which is we know is an extension of the government, and they'll just do whatever the government says. This is basically when we add the other steps that they've already done, right? We see what they've recently done with Facebook, Google, and the standoff that they're at now. Facebook and Google are not really allowing, right, media and news to be circulated the way it used to be. If you Googled, or if you wanted to paste and copy and paste, I should say, any kind of news article into your Facebook profile or your Facebook page, etc., it won't allow you to. So in any case, that's already another step of restricting the freedom of information. A lot of people relied on Google, a lot of people relied on Facebook to get ideas, to get news, to get what is going on in this world, and not be restricted onto just certain media, government sponsored media sources to be given to them. And then if we also take a look at these legacy and very conventional sources of news and media, we see that the government has already taken a stranglehold on them. We know that the government gives them millions of dollars every year to stay afloat. And of course, they become slaves of the government. They do as they are told. We know even Trudeau himself, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister himself, has joked about how the media gives him basically a free pass because they are basically bought and paid for. We see the steps that this government is taking. We see that they are heading towards a Marxist, not heading towards, they are a Marxist ideologues, and it needs to stop. This is the end of any democracy. If we cannot say and do as we please, or have our free speech, if our free speech is regulated, it's no longer free speech. Our speech is cut off, and we are not allowed to say as we think and pass on ideas, and we have to abide by what the government tells us we can and cannot say. If this is true, that is no longer free speech. That is baited speech. That is speech that is censored by government. We've seen it before, we've seen it, and we see it now too, in communist China. And we know that the Prime Minister admires China's basic dictatorship, and these are the steps that are leading towards that whole ideology being implemented here, and that whole system being rooted in Canada. You have to see that this step that the Prime Minister wants to take, and he's not even hiding the fact that he wants to censor what people say in podcasts, that he wants to regulate podcasts. If this goes through, but not just the fact that he's thinking of it, has to show us all that this man wants to dictate what this country and how this country moves forward. Need to stop. Where's Pierre Poilievre? Was he not saying anything against this? Why is nobody else saying anything? Only the PPC are the ones that are ensuring that the enshrined God-given freedom, the freedom of speech, will always be free and not regulated by any government, because that is not the government's doing. That is not the government's job to regulate what we can and cannot say. Please understand where this government is taking us. Understand that we must stand up to this basic tyranny of people wanting to regulate our speech and help the PPC fight for this. Pierre Poilievre will not fight this because this is all part of the WEF, the World Economic Forum's and the UN's Agenda 2030 to regulate what people can and cannot say and how people can and cannot do. Please, if you find that this freedom that is basic and inert, God-given, if you understand that this is in trouble and in jeopardy, please help the PPC to fight this. Join the PPC, donate to the PPC, because it's only us who are standing up for your freedom, your God-given freedoms, freedom of speech, freedom of conscience, freedom of ideas, freedom of movement. Only the PPC will fight for you, nobody else will. Join the PPC, join us, follow us, and help us in our fight for Canada and for this great nation. Talk to you later.